Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ballet Ring. So, ballet is hard. There is no question about it. And if you've ever watched ballet before, you've probably been absolutely blown away by some of the near superhuman feats required of the dancers. But this here pas de deux that we are about to show you guys today contains one of the most, dare I say, near impossible passages to ever exist in ballet.
And the pas de deux in question is, of course, the Grand Pas Classique. Grand Pas in 2 words, short for Grand Pas de Deux, not to be confused with the paternal parent of your mother or father. Famed throughout the ballet world for its virtuosic displays and very technically challenging choreography.
And beyond just being merely an impressive piece of repertoire, what is it exactly about this pas de deux that keeps audiences applauding and dancers rising to the challenge time after time after time? Today we're gonna break it down for you and highlight exactly what makes this pas de deux so very special, and by the end of this video, you too will know exactly why you should watch the Grand Pas Classique. If you are hyped, you may communicate your hype via the like button. And let's go!
But first, of course, the context, because you cannot properly enjoy fine art without context. The Grand Pas Classique was choreographed by Victor Savsky in 1949 to music by Daniel Francois Auber. And he created this piece as sort of a tribute or an affectionate nod to the classical era of ballet, most of which was choreographed by Marius Petipa. So Petipa was kind of a big inspiration for the Grand Pas Classique. So despite the piece being choreographed much later than the classical era, like this would technically be considered like, a neoclassical sort of ballet. The Grand Pas Classique really carries out the same aesthetic and sort of the style of classical ballet, and it kind of follows a classical ballet pas de deux sort of structure.
We did do a video on the structure of the Grand Pas de Deux, which was codified by Marius Petipa. If you want more info, it'll be above and below.
So now the recording of this pas de deux that we're going to be showing you today is actually not the Royal Ballet for the first time in ballet ring history. Mark this down.
For those of you that are new, we usually use Royal Ballet because the video and audio quality
is usually really good.
It's usually good, it's clear, you guys can see what's going on.
Also, we just have an affinity for the Royal Ballet and their dancers. They're absolutely remarkable. But today we are going to be diversifying our ballet nerding palette, I suppose. And we're going to be showing you the Grand Pas Classique featuring Vladimir Malakov and Tatiana Paley. And this is a bit of an older recording. It's from 1991. But as you'll see in a bit, they are absolutely phenomenal. And this might be one of my favorite recordings of the Grand Pas Classique. They absolutely nailed it. And they're one of the only couples that I've been able to find who do it absolutely perfectly.
Yeah.
So we're very proud to share this with you today.
Yep.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, the Grand Pas Classique. Let's go.
A grand entrance, of course. Already a very classical, regal, sort of triumphant feel.
Beautiful.
Watch this line of axis here. Pristine, you guys.
Pristine. And the rotation of the turns themselves are so tight.
Yeah.
Same thing here. Very classical line there.
Yes.
Very, very classical line. Don Quixote, Paquita. Again, very Petipa inspired. The specific line. Very, very classical.
Yeah.
Obviously, this pas de deux doesn't really come from a full-length ballet. It is a standalone pas de deux. And so there's not really any story per se, but it's more focused on the dynamic between the couple and how they work together and sort of their collaboration. It's all about that partnership between the male and female dancers and how they work together. And it's sort of that unspoken bond. Like it's just the essence of the men and the women together without a story, without a narrative, and it's just that by itself.
Yeah, it's to show off the dancers as people working together to make this beautiful piece of art. I love this passage. The
love
clean
that.
stop there.
I love pencil turns.
Yes.
They're so fun.
They're so satisfying.
So much fun.
And this is pretty much all one-handed. This whole passage up to this point. Lovely growth. And they matched each other's pace here.
And as you'll see in like a second, the collaboration is literally everything.
Because here it comes.
Here comes the impossible bit of this pas de deux.
Let's go. Lift to the fish to start. Round to the arabesque. Foray to fourth. Pirouette to the attitude. Straight into a balance. He lets go, does a double tour, and they land together.
That's the passage, everybody. And it is
Oh my
so
God.
hard to do consistently because I do it 2 more times after this.
But let's break this down for a second. There are so many elements that all have to be perfectly executed in order for this passage to work.
Even though it looks like both dancers are doing different things at different times and whatnot, that's really not the case at all. This again is a very, very close partnership and collaboration. And without that synergy, none of this would be able to work out. If you watch it in slow motion, you can see, you know, the dancer, after she comes out of that turn into the attitude devant, he has to turn her, stop the momentum of that turn. And they have to work together to find that perfect point of balance together. Once they've done that, he lets go to do his double tour, all the while she's watching him closely and gauging his ascent and descent from that jump in order to be ready for him so they can come down to the knee together. And that's on her toe, by the way.
Yep. She's just gotta casually stay. Hold that perfect point of balance
While he's doing all of that.
And he's under a significant amount of pressure.
Yes.
To step away, find his axis, do a perfect double tour, because she's waiting on him.
Yes.
You know, if he takes too long in the susu to find himself, line himself up, she's gonna
lose balance. You can only hold it for so long.
Exactly. So he's under pressure. You gotta hit that double tour immediately. So that they can both land to the knee together.
On the music.
On the music. This all happens within a matter of seconds.
Yes.
And this is what makes this pas de deux so near impossible.
It's so hard, you guys.
Oftentimes what will happen is that, you know, maybe she might not exactly be perfectly on that point of balance. And so as he's doing the double tour, instead of landing together, she'll have to come down a little bit early.
It is completely acceptable too.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of directors will coach the dancer and say, all right, so if you lose that balance, sometimes they'll say just come down to the knee early before he lands. And sometimes they'll say, you know, put the foot down and stay in susu and then come down together. Because again, any slight variable and the whole thing could fall apart.
Like, yeah, it's not brain surgery, but it's
Pretty darn close.
It's pretty close, you guys.
And I think that room for error is kind of what makes a piece like this so exciting to watch.
Yeah.
It makes it that much more rewarding
Yeah.
when you see them nail that balance and nail that passage.
It looks really daring. And when it's done well, it's just like the most rewarding
The
thing.
stars align.
Yeah, literally like the stars just aligned.
And this is not a slow passage too.
No.
So all of this lines up. The stars align in a matter of half a second. Boom.
Found it already.
Let's go. Second time.
I'll also note that this passage right here, this is very Don Quixote inspired.
Oh yes. Watch him get on her leg here.
Right there.
See, he pushed
Right
her
there.
just like
a
it was
smidgen.
like a millimeter.
This much.
Boom.
He has like 2 seconds to get her there and to find it.
And also, I mean, you can't really see it because of the video recording, but you can see the tiny micro adjustments that are happening to make that balance happen.
To be able to be comfortable in a less rigid position is kind of the key to holding these balances, because the more comfortable you are with fixing yourself on site, the more likely you are to save it, because more often than not, things are not going to be 100% perfect. Maybe when he lets go, he kind of like brushes you a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to be able to micro adjust as you're balancing. And so it just goes to show that even if it looks like a static position, it's really not. Static positions are
Elusive.
They really don't exist.
A balance is a living position, for
It is.
sure.
That was incredible. It's that collaboration, you guys. This is the epitome of pas de deux work.
I love it. They look at each other. They just completed this impossible feat. They look at each other. This is ballet.
Yeah.
And they walk away, you know what I mean? It's just a moment, you guys.
It's a moment.
A moment TM.
It's a moment TM. Yes.
There's so much pride in that one moment. In themselves, in each other, in the classics of ballet in general. I'm not gonna get poetic.
But we are.
But we classic adagio balance. Look at that. Solid on her leg.
Beautiful fouette. A very clean classical line.
Yeah.
And this is very classical ballet etiquette.
Yes.
Kind of being displayed here. Typical of all Grand Pas de Deux, or pas de Deux in general.
Come here, she goes, I will.
Actually.
Another famous classical motif, the big développé.
Yes.
Gorgeous.
And they kind of slow everything down as the music becomes a little bit more gentle and sweeping, and they match it.
She's
Right
so
on her balance.
stable and still. Acknowledge each other there. Another famous Tchaikovsky Pet-a-Pa ballet staple, the Battement Serré in Promenade.
Yes, that's one you can see in the White Swan Pas de Deux or the Love Duet in Swan Lake, Sugar Plum Pas de Deux,
And even with the développé.
Yeah, that too. It's very Pet-a-Pa, very classical era ballet. And of course the turns to finish right on center stage. You know, that is very classical ballet of them.
And they both do an exquisite job.
Whip turn, whip turn.
Gorgeous one-handed finish. Love it.
Oh,
wow.
It's perfect.
It's so classic.
It's so classical. I mean, look at the tutu.
Yeah.
Very classical aesthetic, steps. Even like the sort of layout of the pas de deux or the music is it feels like Sleeping Beauty. You know, it's quiet in the beginning, then it gets really, really loud, and then it gets quiet again, returns to the same theme. It feels very
Tchaikovsky
Pet-a-Pa ballet. Even though this is a more of a neoclassical or a more modern ballet piece in terms of the era that it was created in, it has so much of that classical feel, and it really, I think it pays so much respect to the classical style.
I think Grand Pas Classique often gets written off because it doesn't really have a storyline.
Yeah.
And people think it's just technique. You know, there's no emotion. It's not like a romantic pas de deux, if you know what I mean. But I think it holds a bit of a different sentiment. It has so much pride and so much triumph, I guess. Again, like that whole this is ballet sort of vibe.
It does feel like
You know,
that.
and it's just so much pride and love for the classics, like our heritage, I guess, as dancers.
That's how it feels. And I think that's why it's a special part of the repertoire today. It's just because it really holds the sentiments of classical ballet and the collaboration of the dancers and the technical aspects and everything. And it's just dazzling. So anyways, there you go. Vladimir Melikov and Tatiana Paley, you guys.
Round of applause for them because this is ballet.
Is ballet, you guys.
Okay, you guys,
that was the Grand Pas Classique, otherwise known as the most impossible pas de deux.
Honestly, it's a real gem to watch, to perform, and I think it's a very proud, very triumphant homage to the beauty of classical ballet and the hard work that ballet dancers put in to hone that classical technique. It's definitely incredibly rewarding to both watch and perform, and we truly believe that it will continue to inspire dancers and wow audiences for a long, long time. And hopefully now, you have been wowed also.
If you really enjoyed this commentary, then make sure you tap the like button. And if you want to watch more of them, then we actually have a playlist full of ballet commentaries that we've done. There will be linked above and below. You can check them out after this video if you would like to continue ballet nerding with us, because humbly, we would love to continue ballet nerding with you.
If you'd like to help keep the Ballet Nerd content coming, then we would like to formally invite you to join our patrons on Patreon at patreon.com/balletrain to help fund all of the future ballet nerding fun that we have here on this channel. To all of our patrons and longtime supporters, thank you so much for making this video possible, and we hope you really enjoyed it. Anyways, I think that is all from us for now. This is Ballet Rain signing off. Until the next video.
Bye. All right, you guys.
Sorry.
Ignore that, please.